Should you plant fruit trees and food on the route to your bug out location? This was a suggestion and question by somebody in my group. I thought it was an excellent idea. So we're going to talk about some of the logistics problems, and I don't need to talk about the benefits. I think we all understand the benefits. So straight up problems and logistics. Number one, wild animals will eat them. Number two, watering. New fruit trees require some water. So if you're planting them in eastern Washington, you're going to have some issues. Number three, soil composition. Also, eastern Washington, going to have some issues. So it's a great idea. How can we mitigate some of these issues? Well, you walk your bug out route like yearly. You're going to do yearly maintenance on a tree. It's just not feasible. So we need to mitigate these things. We can do so with grafting fruit trees that we like, the limbs and blossoms, onto native fruit trees that we don't necessarily like. Chokecherry, Saskatoon, crab apples, Pacific crabapple. All of these things are drought tolerant and native. And they can take grafting of, say, your gala and jazz apples, or your, bitter cherries or sour cherries or pie cherries or whatever, plums. All of that thing can be done. So do some research on grafting and take a look into that. Now, some other problems aside from the water, wildlife issues. If it's an apocalyptic scenario, those fruit trees are going to attract people. We'll find them, people will find them. So that brings a little bit of heat to your route. Maybe not the best idea. Maybe I think it's still a good idea, despite the issues. So we're also going to need to supplement the nutrients that the fruit trees take out of the soil. And we can do so by a permaculture principle called plant gilding. And that is the fact that certain plants take certain nutrients out of the soil. And other plants, nitrogen-fixing plants and dynamic accumulators, put nutrients back into the soil. So you're going to want to gild your plants with things like clover or comfrey. There's all sorts of resources online about plant guilds. Highly recommend you look that up if you're serious about doing this and you get trees established or you graft onto established trees. You're going to want those trees to stay healthy, so gild them. That covers the planted part. Now, as I look around here, I see friends all over the place. Some are better than others, like the cambium of the alder tree. I don't want to eat cambium. I've done it before. It sucks. Knotweed right here. I'll eat that. Salmonberry, blackberry. And then over here, we have cattail. Cattail's rhizomes are starchy, and they're available year-round. I can dig up these plants and make some cattail cakes. And I'm not necessarily going to love it, but it will keep me somewhat alive. Now, there's this myth that prepper and survivalist types have about going off into the woods and I'm going to survive off the land. Nah, you're not. You're going to die of dysentery. I encourage everybody that's interested in this to read Ishi and understand that you're not going to make it alone. You need more people. And then with more people, there's more mouths to feed. And how many skills do you have? What if somebody gets sick? If somebody in my group gets sick, I know that I'm going to be picking the roots of the Oregon grape and making tea for them because it's antiviral, antimicrobial, and antibacterial. If somebody gets a headache, I know that I'm going to go over to this willow tree and peel the bark and make them a tea, because that's where aspirin comes from. So the more knowledge you have about these things, the better off you are. the less stuff you need to carry, and the more you can supplement the stuff that you are carrying. One of the most important things about planning out a bug out route to your bug out location is not just having things at the bug out location, but having things along the way. Let's say somebody gets injured. Great, you can hike 20 miles a day. That's fantastic. Okay, so your wife rolls her ankle and you guys are barely getting 3 miles a day. Do you have the sustainability for that? So burying caches along that route, absolutely crucial. All of these things are supplements. Planting trees, fruit trees along the route, it's a supplement, because what happens if you have to bug out in spring and there aren't any apples? Or winter and there isn't any fruit, you know? So I think overall, it's a fantastic idea. I encourage people to guerrilla garden everywhere they can, because the more food plants we put into the world, the less likely we're going to be able to starve to death.